This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Tuesday, April 22nd of 2025. We've been getting a lot of rain lately, and hopefully that's great for the farmers who are about to get their planters in the field. We're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talk with Tim Laatsch of Koch Agronomic Services about how there's nothing micro about micronutrients. We'll also have a check of the closing markets with Cory Bratland of agmarket.net. But first, Tim Laatsch, North America Director of Agronomy with Koch Agronomic Services, said a deficiency in micronutrients impacts the overall health and potential yield of both corn and soybeans.
Well, there's nothing micro about the importance of micronutrients. Deficiencies in micronutrients can impact plant growth, plant health, and ultimately yield, which is why it's really important for farmers to know and apply the right amount of micronutrients for their crops.
With the strength that micronutrients can provide, Laatsch said crops can even start to handle environmental stresses better.
Well, micronutrients are important cofactors in nearly every single metabolic process in the plant. They play a vital role in essential functions like enzyme activity, photosynthesis, cellular development, and as a consequence, they impact overall plant health, yield, and quality. And can even help plants withstand environmental stressors like drought, salinity, extreme temperatures, etc.
Laatsch said it is tricky to get accurate data on in-field micronutrient levels through soil testing.
Well, soil sampling can often be a dicey proposition with micronutrients. Representative samples are often harder to get due to higher in-field variability. Some micros, like boron, for example, are highly transitory and show large seasonal variation. So when you sample, may show higher or lower test levels. And a lot of micronutrients have, frankly, quite unreliable soil tests that may not be well calibrated to modern hybrids and yield levels. And as a consequence, what we see are traditional recommendation schemes based on soil test results often result in applying far more micronutrient than the plant actually requires.
Instead, Laatsch said he often recommends that farmers try to replace the micronutrients that leave the field in the crops during harvest.
And that is in part due to the relative inefficiency of poorly distributed granular fertilizers that often comprise a very small percentage of a dry blend. And so rather than guessing what to apply or over applying a poorly distributed fertilizer, the approach I often recommend is to use a crop removal replacement strategy where we replace amounts that we take off in grain with a uniformly distributed micronutrient that is applied as a coating to the dry fertilizer blend, like you get with our Wolftrax product.
Laatsch added that Wolftrax dry dispersible powder from Koch Agronomic Services can deliver those micronutrients closer to the roots of each plant.
Well, it's really important to choose the right product. You've probably heard the expression, you get what you pay for. And when it comes to agricultural inputs, that's certainly true. As we think about micronutrients being a relatively expensive input on a pound for pound basis, you really can't afford to be making mistakes with micronutrient fertilizer decisions. And so, it's important to select high quality, thoroughly tested ingredients in high quality products that have proven track records of performance. And if you're, to determine whether you're getting a product like that, it may take a little legwork. You might have to look at product packaging, really figure out, which micros are present, how they're formulated, what source they occur in. And then, you can also work with your retail agronomist or even a Koch agronomist to figure out which product to apply. And of course, I would always encourage growers to consider that Wolftrax dry dispersible powder is a form of micronutrient that is truly the right product. It's an advanced approach to managing micronutrients. and it has an even coat technology that ensures it really delivers precise and efficient nutrient application and even distribution of micronutrients across the field, so that every plant has access to the nutrients it needs through the course of the growing season.
That again was Tim Laatsch of Koch Agronomic Services. We'll take a look at the closing market prices next, but first here's a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. And at the end of the trading day, we're talking with Cory Bratland of agmarket.net. First off, Cory, what do we see going on in the grain markets today?
Hey, Riley, good to see you again. The corn market under a little bit of pressure here today. Combination of a couple things. I think number one is kind of more of unwinding of the corn soybean spread. We saw, corn down 6-7 cents here today. Soybeans up, 2 to 4 cents here overall. Also, we had the crop planting pace come out at 12% planted yesterday. We're going to see a lot of advancement, especially in the Western Corn Belt here this week here. So I got to think, next week, a week from now, we might be talking, closer to 30% of this corn planted, and we haven't even hit May 1 yet. So I think the market is, some of the traders are kind of looking at that, is that there is a strong correlation too as we get the crop in early, and it's going to be under good conditions. Soil temps need to warm up a little bit, but the forecast sure looks like that's going to be coming here down the road. So if we get the crop in under good conditions, get it in early, yes, that's the first couple steps we need as far as achieving a trend line or near trend line type yield.
And like you mentioned, with that early planted crop, a lot of rain's been going across the Midwest, so that's helping for the crop that's been planted so far. But even for the farmers who have not been in the field yet, that rain isn't so much as to keep them out of the field or set things back too far. So really, things are really shaping up for a pretty strong planting season, it looks like.
It is. The rains, the big rains they were talking late last week and through the weekend, they kind of underperformed. There were a lot of places talking they were supposed to expect to get, maybe 3-4 inches. There was just a narrow band kind of across Arkansas into southern Illinois into southern tip of Indiana and Ohio that kind of caught some of that heavier rain. But, folks like there in eastern Iowa I talked to, they got, maybe a half inch, maybe 3/4. Well, in this type of conditions, a day or two, and we're back in the field. And boy, anymore nowadays with our equipment and the technology we got to plant this crop, we only need maybe a week's tops worth of time to plant the lion's share, if not the entire crop.
And then looking at the livestock side of things, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
Very good. Cattle rebounded nicely yesterday, kind of followed by stock market being up good. I am hearing cash trade is supposed to be moving higher as well. So that brought live cattle back $2.5. Feeder cattle followed suit as well, being $2 plus higher here. Stock market, like I said yesterday, I was very impressed with the way the stock market down over 1,000 points turned around, and the cattle really on the live cattle really kind of shrugged it off. Only down 30 cents or so on the June contract. Hogs finally catching fire. We had June hogs up a couple bucks here today, and closed up over $100 here today for the first time in quite a while. So I think we're starting to see some demand pick up for the pork industry. Also, the kill numbers have been a little bit light on the pigs here the last few weeks, and there's a little concern about numbers going forward here on the hogs. So they're definitely catching fire here and following a suit with the strong cattle numbers.
All right, Cory, lots of great information today. For anyone who would like to get in touch with agmarket.net for more marketing information, how can they do that?
Yeah, the easiest would be just kind of head on right over to our website, which is just simply just agmarket.net, and take a look around and reach out to us that way.
All right, Cory, thanks again for the analysis as always, and we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Riley.
That again was Cory Bratland of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers close through the market window at iowaagnet.com.
May corn down 6 even at 475 3/4. May soybeans up 5 1/2 at 1035 even. May soybean meal down $1 even at 291.90. Soybean oil down 24 cents at 47.58. Chicago wheat down 3 even at 535 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat down 4 3/4 at 546 even. Minneapolis spring wheat down 4 1/2 at 595 1/2. May oats up 2 even at 357 3/4. On the Merc, June live cattle up 252 at 206.27. May feeders up $1.40 at 286.92. Lean hogs up $1.20 at 92.22. Pork cutout up 222 at 99.97. And May class 3 milk up 22 cents at 18.38.
That's been a check of the closing markets here on Ag Matters PM, and that also brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM PM on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as the Iowa Ag Matters podcast and Pods of Potential. Find those on your favorite podcasting services at Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Andy Peterson, and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.